The Dodgers had their second meeting with Roki Sasaki today. That's right, the Dodgers had a meeting with the free agent pitcher, and some players were involved. Also, we get into what are the Dodgers going to do to try to create some more space, some more money to use for Roki Sasaki. We're going to get into all that in this edition of Dodgers Digest. Hey, it's Mike Nelson. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I want to thank the 28% of the ones who are watching these videos who have already hit the sub button. But 71% of you have not subscribed yet. You know, myself and Brad J, we're bringing you everyday Dodger content. You're not going to find content like this anywhere else on YouTube. We're the best Dodger channel out there, so make sure to hit the subscribe button. Let's get right into it. Of course, the Dodgers met with Roki Sasaki today. This was reported earlier today. The Dodgers bring star players to their Tuesday meeting with Roki Sasaki. The Dodgers, of course, had their final meeting before the signing window opens on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. According to the Athletics' Ken Rosenthal and Fabian Ardaya, the Dodgers were scheduled to meet with Sasaki and his camp on Tuesday, and the World Series champions were expected to bring several of their stars to help convince Sasaki to come to the Dodgers. As we know, the Padres as well had their second meeting. This meeting comes one day after the Dodgers, one day after Sasaki reportedly cut his free agency down to 3 finalists. The Padres, according to sources, had Yu Darvish, Manny Machado, and Joe Musgrove for, of course, Sasaki's tour in San Diego. Of course, they had to have Yu Darvish there. But the Dodgers, it's unclear who they brought, but I'm sure Ohtani and Yamamoto were probably there, right? I would say those two guys were most likely at the meeting today, just hours ago. So what do you guys think? The Dodgers meeting with Sasaki for a second time. Also, of course, Sasaki meeting with San Diego. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think the Dodgers are going to sign Sasaki? Do you think this is a done deal? Have the Dodgers done enough to convince Sasaki to come to LA? I mean, personally, I think the Dodgers are the best option for Sasaki. As we know, San Diego has been another favorite. I don't know how Toronto's in there. I have no idea how the Blue Jays have found themselves in this, but there hasn't really been. I don't believe I've seen anywhere that the Blue Jays had a second meeting with Sasaki. So that's already a bad sign, for them, right? I don't see anywhere that there was a second meeting with the Blue Jays. It is a little bit far from California, right? Sasaki's out here on the West Coast, so he'll have to get on one of those planes at Toronto, kind of like Ohtani, right? So I'm sure there'll be a plane waiting for him, but the question is, will Sasaki get on that plane, right? And I just think it's down between San Diego and LA. I really think it's going to be one of those two teams. I think Sasaki is considering the West Coast proximity to Japan. A flight to Tokyo is far away from Toronto, whereas from LA, it is far, but it's not as far, right? You could get there. There's direct flights. It's just, I think Sasaki is seriously considering the Dodgers or Padres. Now, what's going to be exactly the determining factor for, what in the end, what do the Dodgers have to do to convince Sasaki to come to LA? I mean, I think it has to do a lot with what pieces are already there. I mean, if he chooses the Dodgers, it's going to be mainly because the Dodgers are World Series champions and because they have, Ohtani and Yamamoto, because it cannot be money. You might be saying, well, why won't it be money? Well, because the Dodgers can't offer exactly what the Padres are going to offer, right? According to this, this is from today, San Diego paper wrote this. The Padres and Blue Jays can offer Sasaki as much as $6.26 million. The Dodgers can only offer him $5.15 million. Now, the next thing that these teams are going to do is they're going to try to, push that. Teams are going to try to acquire an additional 60% to push that purse as much as $8 million from the Dodgers and as much as $10 million from the Padres and Blue Jays. So the Dodgers can't even offer as much money that San Diego or Toronto is going to offer. So it can't be money, right? I mean, Sasaki would be coming to LA for less money because that's it. I mean, the Dodgers can't offer because of the rules that are in place, they can't offer as much as Toronto and San Diego. So he'd be taking a bit of a pay cut. Now, with the endorsements and all the, of course, the attention that comes from playing for the Dodgers, I mean, it's priceless, right? I mean, you can't really get that playing for San Diego or Toronto. I mean, I just don't think so. I mean, especially San Diego, right? San Diego is a small market for sports. We saw it many years with the Chargers. They were a small market football team, and the Padres are a small market baseball team. I mean, they are just not a big market team. They're not a team that millions of people watch when they're on national TV. They just don't because it's a small TV market. Whereas the Dodgers are they're arguably the biggest market along with New York, right? LA is, along with New York, the two biggest media markets in the United States. So why would Sasaki not want to be a part of that? The eyeballs, there's more eyeballs, and endorsements are going to be, much higher playing for the Dodgers. Now, let's talk a little bit about what the Dodgers are going to do to try to get that money up, right? Because they're trying to get an extra 60%. The Dodgers reportedly are going to make more trades this week to get more than $8 million to offer Sasaki. Like I just mentioned, they want to get that purse up to $8.23 million to try to compete with that $10 million that Padres and Blue Jays are going to be offering. Now, what are they going to have to do? The Dodgers are going to have to make some trades to be willing to do that. Now, the Dodgers are not willing to send their high-ranked prospects, but there is talent, according to this article from Dodgers Nation. There is young talent that, did not get much playing time in 2025. And a couple of the names that are mentioned in this article are Andy Pajes and James Outman. Tommy Edman is slotted to play center field. He's an everyday player now. So where does Pajes, where does Outman fit? Where does Chris Taylor fit? Can't rule out that. Now, I know there's been some people, especially some comments from you guys saying, well, nobody wants Chris Taylor. They've been trying to trade him for a while. Well, I think the Dodgers they are trying to trade Chris Taylor, and they should, because Chris Taylor is making a bit too much, and they should try to clear out some of that contract that they're paying for. But I think it's hard. It's hard to trade Chris Taylor. Now, James Outman and Andy Pajes are obviously, I think, players that a lot of teams will be willing to get, and I would not be surprised if we see one of those guys leave this week. As the Dodgers are trying to sign Sasaki. One of these two guys is going to get traded to try to create, more space to sign Sasaki. Now, we don't know exactly what happened in today's meeting between Sasaki and the Dodgers. Potentially the Dodgers already know they're not getting him, too. I mean, that is obviously a possibility. It could have been a meeting just to kind of go over some stuff, and maybe they're not on the same page, and Sasaki wants more money, which he'll be getting from other teams. So we don't know. The Dodgers are going to kind of wait, but tomorrow is a big day. There's going to be a lot of storylines, and we're going to be covering that all on Dodgers Digest. As always, make sure to subscribe, and let's go Dodgers. Woo!